Am I the a-hole for not comforting my in-laws? My wife, 29F, and I, 30M, held a gender reveal for our first child yesterday. It was my wife's idea since her parents, my wife, and a few other people wanted to know the gender. I don't really care what gender it is as long as it's healthy. My mother-in-law and father-in-law wanted it to be a boy because they always wanted a son, but had 2 daughters instead. My wife also wanted it to be a boy, but only because of her parents. She didn't really care much either way. It was a very small gathering with just a few friends and close family members. After it was revealed that the baby is a girl, my mother-in-law walked away and got very upset, and my father-in-law looked disappointed. After around 10 minutes, I went into the garden to see my mother-in-law crying. I asked her what's wrong, and she said that she really wanted a grandson. I told her that I'm sorry, she's disappointed, but it doesn't really matter that much. She got really annoyed at me. At this point, my father-in-law had joined us and heard what I said to her. He told me I should be sad too, since I won't be able to teach the baby about cars. I'm a mechanic, and I joked a few times about getting the baby to follow in my footsteps. I told him that she might be interested in cars when she's older, so I don't really understand how that's relevant. They were saying a bunch of things about what they can't do now because she's a girl, like taking her to sports games and teaching her about sports. They said that I'll be missing out on giving a son the talk and girls. I don't really care that much about that, cause what if the baby likes girls? So their argument is pretty weak. They said a few other things about why they wanted her to be a boy, but I just walked away and went back inside. My mother-in-law and father-in-law explained the whole argument to my wife, and she got really pissed at me. She said that I should have comforted them and had at least a bit of sympathy. I just don't understand why gender is such a big deal. Shouldn't they just be happy they're getting a grandchild? Am I the a-hole here?
Here are the top comments, plus OP's reply.
She won't like cars or sports? I'm a flaming straight girl and love NASCAR, rugby, baseball, even collegiate bowling on the OCO. Your in-laws are nutter butters about gender.
OP reply, haha yeah, my mom is the one who taught me about cars, and she's the reason I'm a mechanic, so thinking the baby won't like cars or sports is BS lol.
Toxic misogynistic family. Make it crystal clear you never want any of this kind of gender bias spoken of around your children. In-laws need to grow up. Set your wife straight too. Ridiculous.
Sad thing is that the wife likely grew up consoling her parents for being a girl. I had a friend like this who grew up with tremendous guilt for not being the son they needed.
Not the a-hole. Comforted them for what? It's a baby, and it's yours and their daughters. They should be delighted. If they wanted a boy, they should at most be slightly disappointed. They're instead assigning gender roles and bubbling because girls can't do X, girls can't do Y, etc. They don't deserve comfort or sympathy for placing imaginary limits on your daughter. This implies they did the same to your wife.
Not the a-hole. Although gender disappointment is a real thing, for grandparents to be so self-absorbed as to not even bother trying to see some positives in the existence of their grandchild is pretty crappy, to be honest. I'd be more concerned with their ideas around gender roles and stereotypes.